All right, we're getting ready for part 4, continuing on the American Eagle. And I'll wait for people to hop on board. Okay. Let's see if we could use a smaller one here. Probably. That's it right there. Okay, I'm just making an adjustment here. There we go. So I have the bigger full size, and it's too big for a reference, so you can see the smaller reference at least. Okay, like I said, I'm going to wait a little bit so more people can come on. In the meantime, I'm going to just do a little adjusting of some white area. Good evening, Brian. How are you? Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. So what I'm going to be doing right now, I'll just do a little touching up and stuff too. Not really touching up. I'm revamping the feathers that are coming down onto the dark brown. And, you just start looking at the real image and you start saying, well, I got to adjust that. So this airbrush is just an Eclipse HPBS, which is your top feed. You can use it for, it's got a pretty fine action, but it's good for touching up and having an extra gun available for good old, whatever you want to call it, touching up, or just a spare. My other one's got a mess on it. I dropped it. It was the HP Plus. So it hit the floor. I went to put it in the holder. You know how the holder goes like this, right? It goes like that. Well, I went like this and I left it. It just a couple seconds later nosedived and bent the needle. So I haven't done anything about that right now, but that's my back. That's my very close to the micron level as far as detail. But I've got 2 of them, and they both have bent needles. But I have a lot of spare needles that I have to go through. I'm doing good. I'm, just trying to get organized for the live feed, and everything's smooth. I mean, I even had like an hour and a half of not mixing any colors, just eat dinner, watch a TV show or something, relax out there, and then I come in the room and all of a sudden it's like quarter of or something. And it's just funny how, because you got to type in the title. I tag some people, right? And that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh man, I had all that time and I didn't utilize it right. So I'm not sure I'm going to stick with this gun. I'm just going to see right now. Nah, I think I'm going to pour that into the micron. This is good for illustrations and stuff, this gun, but it's not micron B or something, you know what I mean? Where I'm noticing it's just a little too much for me on this. It wants more air pressure, and it has a cone with a nozzle built in. So it's a good airbrush, but I've used it more in my school when I had classes for all kinds of backup airbrushes, people that were just doing simple illustrations. And that's when I got a couple of these airbrushes, but I haven't used it in years. So it basically, it just has a wider nozzle. So therefore, it's not working too good for what I want to do right now. So I'll put that on the back burner and I will put my Micron into action right now. I guess I'm using white, so it's not like, it's gonna be a terrible thing cleaning or going to darker colors. So, okay. So all I'm gonna do right now is just tweak a few little areas to get them to be, I could probably use this piece here and help myself to some shapes that I lost along the way. So they're just not all exactly where when I looked at it later, they just seemed a little different. So I'll just use that piece right there. I'm not worried about that lining up. I mean, I could tilt it a little bit, but it's just really, whoa, too much air from when I had the other gun on. So this is your Micron SP, and we're about to just go back and forth a little bit down there and put some shadows in under his beak. Little touch-ups and corrections that help get this in order. So what do we got here? We've got that one and that one right there. All right, so is that the brown going up there? Oh yeah, that's the brown. All right. So where I drew the pencil on there, the brown feathers kind of are showing through. So I'll just kind of put a little bit of white in there. It's a correction color, so it's not pure white. Just to get ready for the brighter whites and the different things that, can be done. Yeah, just clean. So the pencil lines, like right here, whoops, I shouldn't do that. They can go away. You all know that from watching me before. There's a pencil line right there, so we'll just take it out. Now I'm getting a little overspray, so, but it is going to be coming in back with the black, brown, I'm sorry. So let me just, oh, definitely more air pressure, or volume, I should say. I got it on around 25 on the compressor, and then I have the MAC valve. Okay, so there, let's get this. This is just a correction color, so it's just going to cover up some areas that I don't want to have a color shift on the brown. That looks like little feathers. I'm just going to leave that. Okay. And I noticed on the eye, even up in here, I feel like I brought the shadow down a little too far. There's a little bit more of the eye showing. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit before I do the shadows. Get some more people in here. Good morning, Stuart. How are you? I hope your storm isn't hitting you. We're having a nasty kind of a night tonight here with the just plain out rain and cold and that kind of garbage. So I'm just protecting. I know that's an oval, but I'm just protecting the pupil a little bit. And I'm going to just kind of come in here and kind of make a little bit more. I'll put the color on top of that again. So I'll zoom in. You know how I am with the zoom, so hold on to your seats. Here we go, guys. I can't do it. Can't do it right the first time. Okay, so you can see what I just did on the, whoops, let's get that tilted up. Okay, so I just put a little bit of more white, taking some of my shadow out because the angle, I just put it in too low. So that angle is a little bit too much. So let's come at it again. Like I said, I'm using actually just any shield here, just to protect that a little bit. Let me go to the littler one here, just to give it a little covering, and then I'll aim this way. There we go. So I'm correcting the eye. Got a little bright there. That's all right. There's a highlight here that I scratched out, but I think I'll make it a little softer. Okay. White. I got to go after the tip dry, right? Okay. A little bit of whisper of, tie that together a little more. Right on the nose, it's got a little shine. And right here, it has a little more of a shine too. If it gets too white, you just put your color back on top of it. So that will be good there. Okay. Then to go in here and do some, I'm gonna put the air up a little bit. I'm gonna do a little bit of pump strokes just to break this up a little bit and get it a little more feathery looking white, but I'm putting them in dots, little micro dots. Okay, so slowly the feathers will be built in and around the beak and all. Anybody else on here? Let's see. It should hit tomorrow afternoon. I hope it's not, that's a cyclone, you call it. That would be a hurricane over here. What kind of wind speed, Stuart, are you talking about? I, you know, I don't know the metric system, so if you, I just know that we get categories one through what, five, I think. Category four, rather. They should be fives because it's nasty stuff going on lately. All right, so I'm just, like I said, I'm just whispering a little color on here. I see that this comes down right here. I'm not worried about the brown. There's a little bit of feathers, and then there's more brown in there. And then, whoops, the edge of this, got it going the other way. That's straighter, actually, but I've got that shape, so I can go with it. If you see the phone move, I'm hitting the arm by accident. I'm sorry. That's my setup for now. The flexible arm. It's going to have brown spots on it too. Hide that mess there a little bit. It's not going to stay fuzzy like that. Yeah, I lost some of the shapes. So we're going to just use that. Air dry it. Just reestablish them. I don't need that attached anymore. I'm going to go back in here and put more, air dry it. Okay. There's a lot of little feathers coming out that look nice. There's even some baby ones here. I could just use tips of them right there. Just to show a few more shapes coming out. Like that. Just kind of got lost in the sauce there a little bit. Okay. Over here, I'm going to use that and just sharpen that one up. And right next to it is a bigger one. So we just take the same skinnier shape right there, or maybe even skinnier, right there. It's just a little bigger. Just a few more feathers hanging down, you know, that kind of a thing. This is a little dark here, so I'll knock it back. And you'll watch tonight. Okay, so I'll put the color in there while I got that, and you guys will watch this sculpture of the white area come alive with shadows, making the because the beak is more in the realistic world, right? But without the shadows and stuff underneath, it's not looking like it should yet. It just Michael, how you doing? Oh, thank you, Michael. Yeah, it surprised me. Some of the artists that had pictures on that thread, man, I was like, I just submitted mine and didn't expect anything like that. But so that was an honor to have my artist of the month or whatever, right, on Airbrush Society, I think it was. Yeah. So anyway, that was a nice thing to flip through Facebook on and say, "Woo." Yes, they are. They are, Brian. And not only that, they are. They're my favorite bird, and they represent America really nicely. They're just a beautiful bird. So that's a good thing, right? So we could come back out. Oh yeah, I see this feather here. This one I'm going to try to freehand it in a little bit. It's a very weird feather. It's not like the other ones. Let me see if I could do that. At least try, right? Nice thing is if I mess up, you've got, I don't know how much volume I'm using here. Let's see. It's not your normal feather like the other ones. It's got that, and it kind of just does its own little thing, softer. And then I'll just make it a little more solid. Get in very close. It's almost like a strange looking feather. Goes right up into there. From what I'm looking at though, I'm gonna use a shield because I see it's not that different as I was thinking. So we'll just make it more solid there. Remember, the brown is going to go back around it, so we will be looking for that in a bit. Let's just get this. Whoops. Go this way. That's where the brown will come back in. Okay. So that guy's just kind of hanging out. It does have a black line going through it, which will show up later. So we'll get the brown around that. What else? We've got this guy is going to come across. This one isn't really there. What am I doing here? This is here. So let's just kind of weasel some of that tip there. And then the brown will go all on top of that. All right. Touch this up again right here. It's not pure white. It's just got a little bit of orange in it. A very little bit. Okay. So the difference is, let's just do a little more here. Cleaning up right there. All right. So as I put white next to some of this shading, it will pop. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try this because I did it on a pet portrait. I'm going to bring in, and I didn't advertise this, I'm going to bring in a little bit of India ink. And if I mess up, And it didn't mess up on the dog, so let's just back that out a little bit. Bring it in. Sorry, guys. It's so sensitive to the touch. This stupid zoom. I got to get a little closer than that. That might work. I'll pull the lamp out further. Now my lamp is breaking. The switch, I don't know what's going on. It's like my lamp's not going to work pretty soon. And it's an expensive lamp, and it's got the switch. The switch is not clicking into place, that kind of thing. All right, let's see. I have not done the equal yet. Not to say I won't. I am full-blooded American. Yeah, right? They were thinking about the turkey at one time being the national bird, national bird. The turkey, come on. But they went with the eagle. So you could see up in here where I touched up, I have my shadow too. I brought the shadow down too low. So these are just little tiny adjustments. They're corrections, but they're not major. Like when the beak needed to be corrected, that was major. So now I'm going to take the eye color, which really and truly I didn't use an opaque. I used transparent version of this. So I got a lot of reducer in here, and I think I can get opaque is very solid covering. So I'm going to just mist this on there just to put some color back on that eye, and just use, I know that's an oval, like I said, but I'm only protecting part of it. So I can do this just careful. Let's see what the color of the eye. There, a little bit more. Yeah, okay. So the black will get in there and tighten it. But now my shadow, a little bit more. Go freehand here. I might have some white still in there. Let's see. Yep, to be safe, do it the right way, right? So I'm not reading comments right at the moment, sorry. I got to focus on this. There, the color's back, okay? And I will be darkening that lovely black around that eyeball. So I made the shadow, the black shadow, I made it almost go away. And now I'll just put it back in a little bit, because I'm going to work in from light to dark as far as the airbrush, if I can. Once I put black in there, it's like just a little bit more cleaning. Yeah, you're a sign maker, Michael, right? I was a sign guy. I hand lettered back in the day. Totally stuck with the signs. All right, so I got to be careful when I'm switching back and forth with the India ink for my shadows. I can always add color on top of the India ink, but it can at least get me started. I did test an area, and then I took it out a little bit. I just tested under here a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put some of the reducer through here, and I'm just really rinsing out the airbrush because I'll be going to the. Yeah, I saw. I kind of watched your video, and I speeded along at different sections because I do that when there's a long video just to see and see the progress. And you were working on a microscopic area there. It was like you put your finger next to it. I'm talking about your painting, Michael. And it was like, whoa. I mean, you put your finger there and the sign was like really small. Okay. So let's get some shadow going on here. Wish me well here because I am using the India ink. Very, very, the light version, okay? Light mixture. Tim's original bottle. before he had professional labels. That's how far back I went using his stuff. And like I said, I'm just going to dust in the, just see what I can do a little bit. I'm looking for a lid for that. So a lot of times the lids blow to the back of the drawer. Yep, that's where it went. Once the airbrush hits it, it sends it sailing. Oh, that's the eye lid. Okay. I don't have time looking for another lid, so I'll get a brand new lid. It's for my correction color. That looks like that. So pure white will be put on in different areas. Let's see. Let's get a right pressure here, because when you have India ink in this, you got to really be careful, because you're talking about the micron working probably its best, as far as finesse and all that stuff. But like, I won't use it in there. I'll use the black paint. Right now, I'm going to go under here, and I'm going to take a shield. I got to find the one that I cut out. I cut out all kinds of different shields. So that's the one with the mouth. So that's not the one I want. See, that will allow me to paint the shadow area, which will get a little darker. So that's one shield. Then I have, I know I have the shield. This is the one. Notice the photocopy was super washed out. It just was too light when I printed it, but it still made me see the image. So I saved this one for something else, whatever I might need it for. All right, so now I'm going to protect that. I don't have magnets or anything. That will be part of my plan, to bring magnets in to save myself the aggravation. But right now, I'll just let that drop. Right now, I can just use a piece of blue tape and just to hold it in position up top where I want it. Once I get it here, okay, I gotta get that right on there. Whoops, right there. Once I get it there, I can just put it off to the side. I don't want to ruin the painting, right? The background. So I'm just being very careful with the blue tape off to the side. Now I can you can do a number of things. You can take stir sticks for stirring like coffee or whatever. And when you get in here, you can pin down stuff if you want to keep your fingers off of it. So I'll do that for now. I have light India ink in here, and I'm going to look at the real photo, which basically you can see the shadow. I'm going to just start putting it in. I'm looking at it on the sideline, and I'm just going to put it in right here. Just start it, just get it started. The shadow on the real picture is the color version is kind of a greenish tint to it. So that's showing up good. I'm happy with that. So an opaque color would be fine that I could use, but I'm finding that, let's just see, for example, take the dowel, and if I very carefully go through here, I can get a little guy, a little, feather that's showing up. It's easier than with too dark of a mixture or something like that. So anyway, let's get back in here and get that darker. I got to keep looking at the original, at the photo, and I know it doesn't go all the way over. It goes right about there, and then it starts working its way down, and I'm just going to kind of put that in like that. Looks like it's watering up a little bit there, so I got to check that. It can spider out on you really very easily. So let me just push that back. Oh, we got some feathers. the fingerprints. All right, so let's look at that and not have that in the way now. So that already is making the whole beak come out 3D like. And but I'm going to leave this off to the side, and I'm going to just look at the reference picture, which basically feathers out under here. So it's very light under here. It just kind of goes that way, and then it goes this way. A little more volume there. Being careful not to go up by the beak. So it's darks and lights in here of the same color. Now it's going to start going this way. Coming off the corner here. Let's just do it freehand. Okay. That's just, I'm just subtly putting it in. Some of them are so soft, they're like that. There's nothing to it. Start seeing the wonderful dimension. And I didn't even put pure white back in there yet. So I'm going to bring this back a little further. Yeah, well, if we were side by side, Michael, and we were actually making signs, the construction of letters and stuff. When I first started, man, you know how you tape, they would use Scotch, I think it was Scotch tape. And say you're doing a block letter, Helvetica, or one of those kind of block letters, and you're just writing Brick, New Jersey, or wherever you live. And then you're going to have the tape for the top and the bottom. But if you have the letter C, that's going to go up onto the tape. It will be flat bottom because everything that is a round letter, whether it's an S, an O, a C, they numbers too. It will be bigger because if you make your letter O go right up to the line that you draw across, so you have the line here and here. If you do the B will fit right in there because it will end at the top, but the O has to go beyond, or the C. It's optics. If you made it go right to it would look too small. And so these were things that we learned, in hand lettering and stuff like that. It was just something we had to learn. And of course, when you're doing them that small, that's even harder. It's very hard because you're talking about getting, making the painting be believable. Whoops, that watered out on me. So this is a problem with I'm going to let that dry. The India ink sitting in the color cup already, and just air dry that, is starting to give me a little problem because it's gotten watery, right? So I'm drying that instead of going and touching that. And I'm going to come back at it with white. There's a lot of white in there anyway, but it's got to be a correction white. So in the meantime, I'll use this other places. Just a whisper. I know I'm blocking it, so let me try to come in from the side. Let's see, I've got to get the beak protected. So do I have a beak? Do I have a beak cut out? I'm not sure. I know I have the inner part of the beak. So yeah, I do. So let me just get a little bit of that, a little shadow coming off of that, right by the other side of his mouth, and it's small. It's a whisper, just like that, just to indicate it. Okay, so like I said, this getting watery on me because it's just the light version. Where else can I fire some of this? That looks terrible, but I'll have to fix it somehow. And I will. Got to be able to fix things or else you're going to be in trouble. Okay, one of these is gray. So I'll just put the gray on it right there. It's kind of weird. It's a weird feather. It's just shooting out all by itself. So, a few more whispers of these guys right in here. Some pencil lines are showing through because this is transparent. So I'll have to deal with that. Let's get a little bit of shading on the body there, just a little bit. All right, he is starting to pop out. Trust me. Okay, so we need the part. I'm looking for the stencil for the top area. I tore it in half because it was like I need to go in here. Let's just go freehand. I got to be really careful. So I have a little damage there, but you'll see how I'm going to try to deal with that. All right. Well, I'm not going to put that back into. I'm wasting a little bit of the India ink because. Yeah, you're welcome, Michael. If I didn't already say that, you know, hand lettering with the lettering quills before my computer came along. So I liked the gray squirrel hair. So, but these are my lettering brushes from the sign business. Well, that would be one you see the little. They're like quilled, and they have a wire around them, a little plastic ferrule. So you would take a brush like this, and this is a number 2 by Scharf. That was the brand. You would load it up. So I'll wet this so you can see that once this is wet, I'm not going to put it on the painting. Don't worry about that. Then it takes shape to be what you would do with it. So you would come in here. Now this brush is taking shape. And you would have one side. It's been a while, so let me just do that. You'd have this side of the brush. Whoops. This side or that side with the quills. This has water on it, so you would have that, and you would you would twirl the brush. So if you were making the letter O, you would take this and you would twirl the brush like in my hand. I'm twirling it like that. So that's big letters, But yeah, those are the sign brushes that are. It just saved. I saved them because it's my career. It's just like I don't use them anymore. This one was really cool. This brush was called, it's the Wizard. Okay, I do believe that would be, yeah, our pinstriping pal that does stuff with scrolling and fire and all that crazy, crazy stuff. So that's his brush there, Wizard. Steve. Phenomenal. So I have that from, I'm assuming it's his Wizard Mac. It's a Mac brush. They call it the Wizard. Maybe it's not his brush. But anyway, let me put them over there. I sold my pinstriping brushes and paints and all that stuff because I wasn't focused on that part of the business. I focused on the airbrush. A lot of guys went right for the pinstriping, and I could have probably still be in the industry, but I didn't really enjoy the pinstriping, and everybody knows I've had a little to deal with the little shaky hands from sugar drops and whatever, blood sugar. That one I would use for outlining probably a cartoon like Yosemite Sam or somebody. Yosemite stands out. I remember painting that on my relative's truck. And then I got aircraft paint remover in my eye, and I was blinded for 2 weeks. When I say blinded, I mean under, patches to you couldn't move your eyes. My one eyeball got burned really bad, but it came back. But yeah, I went to open the can in the body shop school, and it was just in the wrong can. And when I put the screwdriver and popped the lid, it blew up in my face. It went in my eyes. It went all over, and it was paint remover, aircraft paint remover. And that baby went in my eyes. So let's go back to the white now. Now I'm just going to put pure white in the gun and look for the contrast of this white next to the actual shadings and stuff. So let's just come in here and put some pure white right there. Should be brighter. As long as I don't have, yeah, it is. As long as I do not have black in that gun, like I hope you guys can see that. Now let's go over this. I don't care if it shifts to blue here, so I'm going to mist this over that. I don't care if it shifts to blue because it's actually a color. It's got more green gray going on in it. So for now, we'll just play with that. All right, so where we would get whiter would be right here. Pure white can go on top of, now you can see one feather will come out over another one, but it's going to take a little time because you're talking, I'll get rid of some of these pencil lines here. And you can see some of that white starting to come out in here. Okay. Where else? A little more on the beak, a little bit more right there at the top. And a little bit more in the center of that design, right there. We're closing it up and giving it a higher shine. Okay, so having said that and seeing that dark area, I am going to put the correction color in to help me control any uglies. Whether it's a blue shift, that's what it will be. But the other thing about doing these part 4 and part 5, I mean, we have like 6 people on tonight, but when you start doing a lot of different parts, it starts becoming a little monotonous because there's less to see as far as progress. That means, the more you work on something, there's going to be less and less progress. You're going to just see, you think you're looking at the same, I saw that on the video last week, whatever, but that's part of the real, that's what you have to stay with. You have to stay with that part, So we just kind of put a couple feathers in there like that, just to help it along. Not affecting anything there. We got some white right here. Oh, that light, this Light is right in my eyes. Okay, so we want to come in from this side so you guys can see it. I'm sorry. White next to the dark. Just pops out a little bit more. It's very light in here. This is still the correction color, but it will show up. It will. And it starts to go onto the beak a little, so just let me fog that on there a little bit. Pulled out further away. The feathers are like coming off the beak. The beak has all kinds of cool interactions with the back and forth look. Clean this up in here. Okay, so now over here I see a little damaged area. Just hitting the same, just swinging the airbrush over that little hole in the painting. Trying to make the bottom look like a broom, you know, a little wispy. Because you can spray through. I'll take a fan brush. You can create some pretty cool effects just spraying through things like a fan brush. Let me get, hopefully I have more of a bristle brush. Let's see what we got. Any other time. Here's one. Okay. And I like the bristles. So the only way I can show you this is on something dark. So let me put this, because I have white in the gun. So I'm just going to put this on here just to show you how you can get some feathers on here. So you would take the brush and this is kind of a bristle brush, and you can open it up like that. And then you could spray through it like this. And then you can get some really cool effects. I'll bring that closer to the camera. See? So that's spraying through an object, right? So if you turned it around and you looked at it that way, look at that. All in one sweep, you're going to get an effect like that. And that's feathers right there, right? So that's using a bristle brush, smashing it down, and twisting it so that it becomes open like that. You got to open it up. I'll do it one more time on here. Well, I don't want that on the beak. I'll do it one more time, but I'll do it this way. So I'm going to twist it. I'm going to smash it into the thing, and I'm going to twist it a little bit. And remember, the more bristly the brush you get, like an older one, it's stiffer, you can get some really cool effects. So there's that one. Let's try it. It's a little bit on an angle, but so then your next layer, I'll do one more layer. You could just kind of do something like this. Open it up again. You got to kind of twist it a little bit like that. And then you could try it again. And then, well, I just covered what I did. But I think that the first example was probably the best one. I can just sort of get it better like this. And just spray it. Spray through it. And then imagine going back in with the darks and playing around with it. So little extra tips and tricks you can do. Look what I did here, guys. Putting tape on it, right? And here. All right. That's what the correction color is for. I'm going to ignore that. Drives you crazy, you know? trying to do a little sample demo, and I should know better. It's on Blair synthetic paper, and I just took the tape on fresh paint and it just lifted right up. But again, that can be fixed. It's just more work. And if I don't like the color, the hue of that shadow compared to the photograph, that's where I have to mix that gray, which I think I did have, and spray it in. So we'll see. I'm going to look at it from a distance. It's definitely not the color. Okay, so let's get some black going on in here. So when you look at it and you say something like that, it's like, I'm not really happy with that color gray. So the India ink, most likely I'll bail. I won't, for this project. India ink I'll use for its own, own thing. But it's on the dog painting it worked well because I was doing some fur and stuff, but I'm not liking the color. On the dog painting it was a bluish color. So the shift was beautiful and it worked out. So I'll show you how I'm going to rectify that. And it won't be real hard. It's just unfortunate I have to go back to mixing a color that I want. But right now, just to make a little more sharpness in the image, we're going to go after, now this is black paint. This is Createx black. And I'm just testing my gun down below, making sure I'm happy with what's going on here. Okay, so now I'm going to take, don't worry about the damage. It's a lesson, right? And there is going to be a number of things that get damaged when you're painting, especially me. Okay, so let's see. If I take that, is that good? Yeah, I think so. I don't want no more damage, guys. Just put a little in there. Now, I just cut off a little bit of the roundness of that, but there's a shadow there. So I can just kind of whisper it in. And not go as low this time, showing more of the white of the eye or the yellow part of the eye. And then come back in here with the freehand look, coming from the side. Again, I got to remember, you guys are watching. Let's see, in the late 60s, I had a story to tell about me around 7 or 8 years old with a sign painter. That guy who fought in World War II. I will talk about this on the weekend. Yeah, that's something you got to actually talk on your channel about. Cool. Okay, so let's get this. Yeah, plus this is a Wednesday night as opposed to doing it last night. Still got some white in there, so it's kind of not black. There we go. Sharpens it up nice. Sorry. Which one? The small guy. A little overspray gun on it. And I gotta make sure I hit it right where it is. There we go. And we might as well touch this one up a little bit. And I definitely have too much coming at it. There we go. There we go. I still see a little speckle down at the bottom here. So I'm going to get back on that little guy, aim down. So So the eyes are sharpening up, and you start getting into a more, um, you know, more realistic. All right. Um, there is going to be some black in these feathers on top of the brown, so I could go like something like this. That would show the lighter feathers by the brown just popping out more. All right, so let's see. Um, Now I'm still seeing a little problem here. I gotta get, boy, that looks so big when you take that away. Then again, so I gotta lay that flat, and I gotta hit that bottom of that guy right there. That's better. I don't want to make that huge. Okay, so, all right, where are we here? Just using a pump stroke just to make it pump and aim right into the spot. All right, I'm just checking areas here. Okay, so I'll get the black out of the gun now because I've got that looking much better. There is a little more of a connection here. So we'll just do that. A little pump stroke right there. Tip drive, it was stopping it. All right, what's going on? There we go. Okay. So let's get the gun cleared out. See, you need like 10 microns or Takumis. You need like a lot of them, man. Just all different colors in them, right? Actually, if I had the money, besides getting a new head assembly possibly for this airbrush, you know, it's kept me in a better budget just getting this cleaned and getting this airbrush going. One day, you know, if I ever try, I'd like to try the airbrush. I have no, you know, I've never tried the Takumi, but I don't like the large color cup. Just looking at it, I don't think I would like that. Because I have a large color cup for this airbrush, and I know I never use it. I don't know why I bought it. Let me get it. Now this is bigger. This is bigger than the Takumi, but just knowing how this one is, okay, there's the regular one, right? Pop that out. Look at this guy. And I know it's bigger than the Takumi, but it is made for the Micron. So let's just, I don't like that. You know, I don't like that. I know that the Takumi has, this doesn't shoot up as high and it's flush with the thing. This is just a big bad boy for spraying a lot of paint with the Micron. And I have no use for it. It's like, it's just annoying. I like that I can look down, you know, down the gun without having a thing in the way, or your finger can go not crashing into anything like that. But okay, so make sure that black is out of this gun, and it's not. I'm going to get the repair going. The shadow is definitely going to be a mixed color. So I don't know if I can get it mixed as far as right now, but I definitely got to repair that, right? So I'm going to go back to so I'm going to be taking some of this shadow out. I need my white. It's damaged, so that's probably the white of the paper. I'm thinking. I don't think that's. I think yeah, that's down to the paper, and you can't fix that with a transparent. There's no way. The opaque paint you can, but it could take layers. Okay, so this is not pure white. Don't like what I have there. So it's time to get the original piece here, meaning the paper shield. And whoops, I'll get this on here like that. Keep the tape off to the side so it won't hurt anything. Now look what I did. Boy, I'm just smacking it around. That's black on his white. Oh boy, that's a real tough one. And even more right there. Okay, hold on guys. I have paint on my hands, obviously. And it's on the shield right there. It's on the tape. See the black there, the damage? Plus, I'm not looking for excuses, but I'm working around the phone. The phone is in my way. And it's just, I don't want to have it on the angle view, like you're so far, but I might have to do that it's not too bad, the angle. Let me just lift this up. And so we'll go a little bit more of an angle so I don't have the phone crashing. Yeah, you guys can still see that. That's good. I like to keep it straight on for you guys, but it doesn't work out that way. Okay, so you're seeing a live feed in real time. You're seeing mistakes happening. Bad things. I mean, that's bad. I mean, you could come at it, let's just see, because the paint under it is really and truly, it's wet. It's not wet. It's in that window of time that you can't really, I don't think can erase that without damaging it down to the white. So I'm taking a soft eraser and I'm seeing if I can do anything to knock that back. Not really. A little tiny bit, but I bet you I'll go down to the white of the paper with the damage because you have to do it so much. So you think, oh, I ruined my painting. It's like, yeah, if you try to cover that with white, you're going to have blue shift. So I'll show you how I'm going to go about this. This is good. This could be good for you guys. I have to do it, right? I'm just going to hold that shield up. I'm not going to worry about the tape so much. Make sure there's no black on the back. That's the nostril cut out. My knuckles, my hand, wherever that damage came from, the paper, it just came right over onto the painting. And Drew taught us well. He taught us to not fear, not paint with fear, because we're working with opaques. So I'll just do that for a minute, just to first coat it. Let's go over here. We've got this guy. Okay, I'm just going to pull that back. And we're going to just kind of feather it a little bit, not just worry about, I'm going beyond it. So it's knocked back, right? It's not fixed yet. So we'll go back to this one again. And again, it's the air drying that you're drying the paint at least. Let's just go a little heavier this time. Air dry. Air dry. Okay. So remember, I am going to put a mixed color in there. So you saw me put the shadow in there, and you're seeing the repair. There's a damage here. So let's see, that would probably work a little whisper on it like that. Air dry. Takes time. And this is in the white area, so far the overspray is staying off. I can aim down. Air dry it. Don't flood it on. So we're seeing a repair, and we're also seeing that I'm not going to use the India ink for the shadow. It's not working for me. Second coat, air dry. You saw me try to erase it. It wasn't happening. I'm air drying it mostly. It's almost gone, right? Okay, so that was valuable in and of itself whenever something bad like that happens, because you can see it get fixed right in front of your eyes. Yeah, I'm going to go to mixture there. So I'm going to lighten that, kind of get rid of it, but it will still be a little ghost of it there, because at least it looks a little better to you guys to see something, right? All right, so that's cool. We got damage here still. I'm going to add a little more air on. Air dry. Some of the overspray is going off onto that. This will be a little sharper, and the color will just come back in and sharpen the beak up there. What do you got here? You got some nice areas of white right in here. Oh, the micron's wonderful. Imagine if I get the new nozzle, and at least a new nozzle and a needle. That will help. And then that gets white on top of it. So this little area right here, there's going to be more black in here. So I'll just kind of clean that up a little bit and soften over it. And I'll bring the black in to make him have like a brow there that will come up and in. So like if I was to use the pencil, just to show you how you can get it. Okay, because I can paint right over this. I'm going to go real light because this is this is a soft HB. H meaning hard, B meaning black. And this is going to have the black in here, right in here. And it's going to have it go up and over like that. So it can help me just kind of know where to go with the airbrush, giving them that little attitude-y looking brow right there. Like that. I'll cover that. And it goes even more. It goes into there. There we go. So I used a pencil. I did use a pencil, a color pencil right there carefully, because I needed to outline that. And I wasn't doing too good with the brush. So you can use a little color pencil in microscopic areas, you know what I mean? Like this here. Let's see. What was the original? Because that's straight at us, so we know that's not an oval. This eye is a wonderful circle. Nope. This one. Maybe? I can use it on the edge here. Just to sharpen it a little bit. Right in there. And then it goes like this. It goes on an angle. Like that. So that's graphite. Now graphite will shine. Colored pencil won't. But this is going to get sprayed with a matted satin finish. So I'm very happy with this area. For what it's worth, I do have I think I do. Might have brought it back. You could even take the brown, kind of orangey brown color pencil and put a couple of feathers in there, um, because you know, it's not it's not black. But this pencil here is a 6H. It's great for tracing down because you can real hard. It won't break. It's not a soft graphite, but it's not good to do what I just did there. It'll put a hole in the painting. You know, it'll just go after it. Just deepen that a little more. So yeah, you can use color pencils and things like that to help you. So there we go there. Shadow is going to be reworked into the main shadow. I can still, well, no, I'm going to make that color for everywhere. It's this is working for me. The indie ink worked there, but it wasn't working there because let's look at the big picture and you'll see the color. Okay, let me just bring it over and try to show you. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of a gray green, at least on this photo. Even the photos change. Like this one has a little bit more of the green. And when I say green, I'm talking about it shifts the gray over to a greenish color. You know, it shifts it over a little bit. That's all. It's not like it's green. It's got a hue that is a gray with a little tiny bit of a green tint to it. That's good. That's good. Who's the Astro Solari? That's good. That's a great lesson for you and anybody, including me, because I know it works. In other words, the correction. I know it works because you saw me do it in front of your eyes. But what I think it's a really valuable lesson. So even though I'm aggravated that my hand had paint on it and I bashed that right there and over here, you can see me taking out the color I don't like too. Besides the damage in both areas where we went down to the surface of the board, I'm bored, Blair synthetic paper. Yeah, it's a great thing. It's fixed. I mean, that is fixed, right? So it's all good there. You can just, so they take a pencil line like right here. I'm going to just spray over it with this and knock that. It's not bright white, and it won't be bright white for what it's worth. I could put it in between this gray right here, and it will look like white, but it's not a bright white. It's an off-white, and it has the ability to, and now I'm going to aim down, and I'm going to go after that damage one more time. Little overspray's going on the bottom thing, but I'm going to spray that anyway. And again, so we want to make sure we got it good. Okay, so we fixed something that looked really bad, really bad, and now I'm happy because it worked. And I knew, the thing is, I knew it would work because I was taught by Drew, and he taught us to not fear. And that's because the actual, I'll be putting brown in the gun now, the actual opaque paint, you know, is the only thing that can cover completely. Like you see, it covered black, which is the ultimate test, right? So a good example too would be, and I'm not going to correct this, I'm just going to get the painting. Okay, so I did a jet. This is the second time I painted this jet. I'll tell you about the jet in a minute. I had some reducer or something on my hand. The painting was pretty much done, right? And what do I go and do? I touched it right there, pop the paint out. And again, you'd say, oh no, nice painting like that, it's all messed up and ruined. It's not ruined. Now, the same thing would go. What I did there, yeah, it would look like I'm painting white over this until I get it to be all feathered, okay? So I get it all feathered in with the whitish off color, and then I take the original mixture and start bringing it back over that. Not pure white though. And that's how you can fix it. Even a little damage there, you know. So that is nasty. You think the painting's ruined. But just as you saw that correction, this will be fixed. So you don't have to, like, it's just sitting over there on the shelf. You don't have to think, oh, the painting's ruined. It's not ruined. This has no clear on it yet. So that makes a difference. Once I put the satin clear on it, you can't do that to it. Because the clear, well, you can if you really go crazy, but you can't hurt it. Hello, Gary. Hi. You just finished, you just missed me. My fingerprint with black went right on his, right on his, by his beak there, but not on the beak, on the white. And it looked horrible. I mean, it was horrible. And I just repaired it. So go back in the video a little bit and you will see that it looked like, oh, it's all over, man. You know, the painting's ruined. How are you going to fix that? And thanks to the opaque paint and thanks to the color theory that I learned through Drew Blair, I had one person the other day on last week's video, or it might have been the week before. I was so excited. He actually purchased, if you're on today, just let me know. We only have 4 people right now. He purchased the color theory from Drew. He said, I took you up on it. I'm all excited. It's coming. I was like, yeah, you are going to be blown away. I know it's, you know, an investment and everything, but you are going to be so excited if you do it. That's the other thing. It's a little bit hard in the beginning, but if you do it, you put the time in, you have the right lighting, and everything else goes with it, then you're going to master color much better, much better. So you can see all this blurriness down there because I worked out that the feathers needed some help. I redrew them in a little bit. There's some pencil lines there. And now I'm just looking for my tiny French curve. And I'm just moving some things around because the whole drawer below here gets so messed up that it's bad. So I moved the phone over on an angle a little bit. So now I just take the French curve, find that feather, and sharpen it. Sharpen it up. I'm not worried about the little whatever you call them, little spikes of feathers that are in there right now. I got to get that volume down there. Okay, that's better. Okay, so this feather, I had it all wrong. It has brown right here. And it takes coatings to get that to be, you know. So I'm going to give up a little bit of this crazy. Do we got the right angle? No. I got this angle. I'm going to give up a little of those spiky guys. They're still there, but they're sharpened up. Okay? And then what else? It's very dark. I didn't realize that this is so dark. The feathers, the brown actually almost goes black. So that'll help it look more like the photograph. But right now I'm just trying to clean up areas that are funky like this. So I changed the angle of the camera. Boy, I need a mint. I think I got stressed out when I did all that damage. And you know how you get a bad taste in your mouth? I feel like that right now, so I'm gonna have a mint. Let's see. So that's not your signature. Do you mean? I don't know what you mean, Gary. Unless you're talking to somebody else. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay. So we've been floating around 5 and 6 people tonight as opposed to uh, 15 and 12. Like I said, it's a different night that I'm doing it on. And they also, part four, they might get a little like, I've seen enough. I like moving on to that's a white feather right there. So I got to sharpen this up. Yeah, it can get a little like monotonous watching a video that a live stream that's. But when you're in the classroom, say you were coming to a school, my old school, then you would be like, okay, all right, this is week, one. This is a 4-part painting. Maybe it's 5 parts. I'm going to Bill's school and we're going to all, bring our coffee in, whatever. And I'm going to be fine because I had a week away from the painting and it's cool. It's like you take a break, but watching it broken up into 4 parts can get a little like, I know I get that way myself. So, but I'll tell you what, I'll be getting some of Drew's classrooms in a box. I don't know what ones yet, but I'm going to watch them. I don't care about repetition and looking at it and going like, oh, I'll watch it over and over and over until I get it and master it because that's how you learn. So this sharpens things up a little bit. You can go in here. You got to be real careful, and you can bring some brown up by just using the shield a little bit. See, like that. And you can come the other way. As long as you don't go too hard, you can literally make that triangle. Just like that, without any real overspray. And back and forth. And like this one's looking a little too perfect, but the shadow is going to cut that in like that. So this feather here, oops, that's a fat dude. Oh yeah, they have dots on them. Perfect mistake. I forgot that. Little ones. Speckles. Don't know why, but it's on there, so my speckle was fine. Okay. This one goes kind of like this. Whoops. Flooded that one a little bit, but it worked out. Air dry it. A lot of grays are going to come off that. Let's just clean up a few more guys over here. Like that. Whoops, that's a little too much of a curve. I can get that one in. No, that's a little too much. So they're starting to get cleaned up a little bit. This brown reappears right here. Goes out a little further on this side. Tip dry. Bad tip dry. You got to go after it every 20 seconds, 15 seconds. You got to go after it a lot. When it's acting like that. The white paint doesn't really do that. So I'm making that a little bigger than it should be, but I need some brown coming in a little bit because I cut the painting off a little, I guess, right there. Meaning when I drew it, I ran out of paper. So it's not exactly the same. So it sharpens everything up. And here a little bit more. Ah, look at that, guys. 3 dots. I sprayed through. You're supposed to cover them with some tape. Again, just like that black dot, that will be a no-brainer to fix. I'm going to whisper a little brown on this side of the eye. And I mean a little. Shadows is turning in a little bit. Okay. Okay. So let's, this is brown, and that's more yellow. I just want to see something right here. Freehand. And the yellow goes back, it shows up a little more. Okay, Michael. You take care. Why do I keep hitting the wrong thing there? Hold on, guys. Oh, yeah, that's not my signature, right? And that'd be a neat signature if you could just do that real quick, but that was a black. You'll see, Gary. Just go back on the video, just backlog it a little bit, whatever you call it. I'll tell you what, when you load up live feeds, like when you do a download, it takes a while. You know, you've already made the video at home, and you got to just wait. But when you do the actual live feeds and you load them on, oh my gosh, what a pain in the neck. It takes hours for the live feed to be able to copy the link and what have you. You know, it just takes long. Okay, so that white cuts right there, not there. So I'm just going to get rid of the brown. Just blowing a little water through the gun. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this painting, because it will be like rinse and repeat, and all that stuff, I'm going to put the correct brown, the correct gray in. It's got to be mixed. And I chose to go with a little bit of India ink tonight, and that is not what I want. Once I saw it on there, I said, nope, it's not. I should have known better. And then I ran into problems, right, with the crashing into the painting and all that stuff. So I'm going to still use a little bit of the India ink. You would think I wouldn't, but I'm gonna. Just a little bit. And then I can close out the video. The reason why I want to just show you a little bit more of the shading a little bit, because the India ink did work well in the lighter areas. But I'm finding out, you know, when you got the India ink, you got to shake the daylights out of it. And then you got to work with it quick because it can start to settle and it becomes more watery. So let me just do this kind of in a couple spots, and I feel confident that this will be okay. I'm just going to put a few shadows here. So like this one, it's going to get divided right here by like that, like a little kind of feather inside of a feather. Um, get brave again, right? Where is this? Right about there. A little bit there, maybe a little bit more. Just a little, one more whisper. Just like that. I can do this one because, like I said, anything that's going to be lighter, like this one goes like that. And there's a lot of little feathers that are going to be in there. Like I said, I'm not going to put the dark shadow in because it's not the color I'm going to go with. This does go up pretty high. This one here, get in a little closer there. You know, we were talking about using Drew's the hair stencil, so I'm going to try that. Hope I don't damage nothing. The little guys in here, they're very, very perfectly straight almost. They get the right angle. Probably this one. I'm going to open that up. I'm going to line on that land on the pencil line. Close it up even more. Like that. I'm going to try the India ink here a little bit because it's in the gun. And that's it. So that gives you these. That is how I'm going to get those lines in there. And there's a few more here and there. There's, you know, you can see it on the big paint, the big photo. So that's how I will get those little dudes in there. And I will, I'll be finishing this one up. This will get pure white in here. The yellow will be a little sharper. And then I'll just work the darker shadow in, and I'll post it in the end, because again, it will be rinse and repeat. It will be like, okay, you saw the technique. You see how I'm going about it. We could do one more little guy here. Let's find the line. It's this feather, but it's not established that much, so I'll try it. I'll find another one. I'm going to do it over here. I'll do one more. This one's very close to this one, so I'll just kind of do it here. Close the door on it where you can just about see, and then you just put one more next to the other one. This one's a little bigger, so I'll just go like that. Now we have the two, and I'll just aim that in there. See them? They're nice. They're perfectly, you know, made to do that. And we're out here somewhere. Okay, we'll just leave that like that. So, yeah, we're gonna, I'll show the project I might be doing next week. I gotta think about it. because I have a lot of photos, but I was thinking of doing this guy here. I got to show you the smaller one. He's a fox from a very out of focus back, in focus face, some soft fur. So you got an out of focus background, you got an out of focus back of his body, and then you've got kind of out of focus everything else. The only thing that's really sharp is this little guy's front, face, snout, and eyes and ears. The rest all blurs out. So it could go pretty fast. As far, I got my work. The work is all in here. The rest of this painting is so easy. I'm not trying to sound arrogant or anything like that. It is a very easy painting in the sense of what you got here. Think about it. The background is like my bird background there. It's got some bokeh going on, out of focus lighting. That's not hard to do. The background with the gravel and all, that's just abstract, loose painting. Even the legs they're not really stenciled. They're kind of a in between edge. The tail is blurry. The back of him is blurry. The only part that's really sharp is all what you see there. So if I decide to do the fox, I'll post it. If you see me post another thing, that means I just wanted to paint something else. Got to be in the mood to paint the paintings. So there's my eagle. There's the big boy next to it. You can see I got to get the background matches right in. You can see that. The bottom's got to be darker. The color, it's got to be darker, like more of a black brown kind of thing. I just got to touch up a little bit there and just do the dark shadow under here, and it'll be done. So hopefully you guys, whoever's just popping on now, just back up the video and look for the damage part where I got a really black, my hand had black on, big dot right there, like worse than that dot. And over here, the white came down to the board and I repaired it. So that was valuable in and of itself. Just do a little bit more right here. These guys are kind of gray. Gives it a little more look. When that really good guy goes in there, it will be nice. It'll be a good thing. There's not a lot of shadows on his head. I could add a few more to make it more believable and not let it stay like the painting, like the photograph rather, because it got whited out. So that gives it a little more three-dimension. So I'll post the finished picture. All right, thanks for hanging out with me, and look for me next Tuesday. The only thing that will change that is, like doctor appointments, and so that's where we were. We were down in Manahawkin, and there was no way I knew I wasn't going to make it back in time. I'm going to take this phone out of its holder, okay, and I'm going to just end the video. Oh, my light's breaking. Man, the switch is breaking on it. Okay, just give me a second here. Here's a close-up of it. So, just so you know, the video, you do your thing, and it's over, the video's over, and then all of a sudden it's like, clean up, and clean up on aisle 2. It's just a lot of cleanup, and, you got all that has to get put back. The shields have to be clean. This mess over here. And then over here. And then, of course, the airbrushes. Both of them have to be, rinsed out and cleaned. So that's what we got. This was the original drawing. that we traced down, used some of it for shields, and I'll just do the shadow and post it when it's done. But thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next week. So, all right. So I'm hopefully, you guys will have the patience to wait to see the finished results. But thanks for watching the videos, and I'll see you guys. Okay? Take care. God bless you guys.